Welcome to the Free Cheese episode 439. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Mark Augustiniak.
What's up?
Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Mark, Matt, next week, February 14th, Twisted Metal, the 2012 reboot, is 1 decade old. Word on the street is a reboot is in development. What song needs to be on the soundtrack of the new game, Mark?
Obviously, Dracula.
That is the song that played from my phone while cooking dinner the other night that made me think of this question. Matt, besides Dracula...
Let's get a little... I don't know what song. Maybe we'll go with Action. And maybe Action by Power Man, 5000, right?
Oh, yeah, okay, alright.
Still in the wheelhouse? Yeah.
Yeah, keep it.
So anything not related to Rob Zombie that we can think of? Because I've got nothing.
Well, Machine Gun Kelly is a popular character right now.
Uh...
I don't know any of his songs, but he's a popular
He had a
name.
song in that Tony Hawk reboot, but it was very soft.
I'm gonna say, like, obviously some Limp Bizkit. I don't know if Roland's too on the nose, but you can do that. You can do some Slipknot. I think that could fit.
Yeah.
Korn.
Yeah, Korn would be good. I think Wait and Bleed from Slipknot would be a good addition.
Ooh, Static X, Cannibal.
So, fun fact, I have a playlist that I started making for us for Halo Infinite called The Mozzarella Sticks already. Obviously. And right now, the only songs that are on it are Demon Speeding by Rob Zombie, Electric Pulse by Static X, and Astro Zombies by the Misfits.
I thought you were going to say the only song is a Reba song.
Yeah, there's that too.
Oh, throw a Rage Against the Machine. Specifically, I think Calm Like a Bomb.
All right. That can work.
We need some turn of the century hip hop too.
Insane Clown Posse.
They could have their own car at that point. If they're in it, just give them a car.
That's true.
Part of Sweet Tooth's gang.
Oh, man. Well, the future of Twisted Metal, still out there, murky, unsure. We'll find out at some point. I assume this week on the Free Cheese episode 439, we are continuing with Season 10's tradition of talking about one game a week and adding it to the big list that is continuing to grow over at thefreecheese.com/the list. It's starting, I know it's still early. We're only this is our 4th game of the season, but it's already getting interesting. I'm excited to see how the list continues. This week's game is SSX Tricky. First released on November 5th, 2001. Released for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. I had misspoke last week and did not remember if it was on Xbox, but it was on Xbox. Developed by EA Canada. Published by EA Sports Big. Other games you might want to check out if you like Tricky. SSX, probably a good one to go back to, because there's a lot of actually... Like, Tricky added some new features, but a lot of what was in Tricky was in SSX. The sequel, SSX 3, opens it up to like an open mountain type of snowboarding game, and of the era, you had Cool Borders, which I probably wouldn't recommend going back to, and 1080 Snowboarding, which I still have not gone back to. I'm curious about that one, though. But we're talking about SSX Tricky. It's the Winter Olympics, right? So let's talk about some snowboarding. This was Matt's game, correct?
Yes.
What made us play SSX Tricky? Why did it get pulled in?
Fitting with the theme that was going to be an overarching thing. Just a major game that I played a lot of hours of. I think multiple playthroughs as a young lad growing up. I can't remember what got me exposed to this game. I can't remember if it was a demo on something else, or if someone else had it, and then I played it, and then I got me to buy the game finally. But yeah, no, I bought this on PS2, probably not too long after its release. I don't remember the exact year, but yeah, no, this is like, one, I kind of miss EA Sports big, and revisiting in the limited quantity I was able to this week maybe realize how much I miss EA Sports big. But everything about it, I just like it's something so dumb, and what makes video games great, right? It's like something you can watch like pros do right now, like during the Olympics at a high level, and is entertaining. You could even potentially learn how to do it recreationally, and enjoy it as a pastime kind of thing, or a hobby. But like the over the top gameplay, uber tricks that are just physically impossible to do, that are only possible in a video game. The courses, everything like that is just, it's so like over the top. I like the attitude that this game had. Stereotypical at times, yes, but I did enjoy it at the time, and going back, I kind of still hated some characters that I remember hating as a kid, so I like to punch them in the face. But yeah, this was a game I spent a lot of time with. It's I'm not a big snowboard guy, but this game, it definitely, I enjoy the hell out of it.
Mark, what was your first exposure to SSX Tricky?
Ooh, definitely at a friend's house, because I had a friend who just played nothing but like extreme sports games, like mostly mostly dirt bike related, or stuff that's kind of like Splashdown or what have you. But I remember seeing this game, and then more so with like a lot of commercials and what have you. But like honestly, even back then, I barely touched it. I think I watched it more than I played it, and so I think this time around is, I think, the most time I've ever really spent with it.
I can't remember if this was a rental or an own way back in the day, but I definitely remember just the theme song playing, like that attract mode running and having it play over and over again. Matt, you mentioned the outlandish trick system in the game, and I think that's something to focus on a little bit. A lot of the contemporary games at the time were bred out of Tony Hawk's popularity, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater popularity, I should say specifically. And the Tony Hawk control scheme was simple and straightforward, and it would then be copied in Sean Palmer's snowboarding. It would not as well be copied in some other games of the era. I don't know if you guys have gone back to like old skateboarding games that came in the wake of Tony Hawk, but they are rough. I think like Grind Session is one I played, and a couple others like that are just, they're clunky and heavy, and what Neversoft did with Tony Hawk stuff really worked to influence a genre. But SSX is a bit different and a bit more deliberate. I guess to preface it for the listeners who haven't played it in a while, you use the triggers to execute tricks, and it's kind of like if you're approaching a jump and you want to do a front flip, you need to already be holding up before you jump, before you even like hover on the crouch button, right? You have to like push up and get your trigger ready, jump, and then you're executing the turn. Or am I wrong? Because I felt like I was never good at tricks in this game.
No, you kind of want to like, maybe the grab you can kind of make up midair, but definitely your rotations, you are better off free, knowing which way you want to go ahead of time, because that way you can get your leverage and get your best 540s, 720s. I think you can get enough spins to get 900s in some of the jumps. Yeah, but definitely some predeterminedness on your trick, especially if you go for uber tricks, which I don't know if you're ever going to get at next.
Well, yeah, in the uber trick system, so you kind of build up a meter the more tricks you successfully land, but you can also kind of instantly jump to an uber trick if you knocked someone down. Which, how frequently were you guys beating up your fellow riders in
all
this
the time?
just
All the
nonstop.
all the time.
Push that right stick.
I would attempt, but like I think I would fail more than succeed with it.
It's not as straightforward as you think, but it is. You kind of push in the direction. As long as you're close enough, you can nudge someone, knock them down, and you will get right in. You'll hear the tricky song start playing, and then you can jump in the air. And the uber tricks are typically they're always a combination of the trigger buttons plus B. Well, not B, but B or circle, right?
Square.
Or square. Yeah. I was playing GameCube. Sorry.
You're fine.
And they're usually going to be stuff like you're doing a swan dive in the air while you spin the snowboard on the tip of your finger, kind of stuff. Like it's absurd and weird and dumb. But you kind of pull them off land and keep on going, and you keep that meter rolling. And there's a risk reward with being able to execute the uber trick and using boost, because you can also utilize that same meter as your boost meter. Did you find yourself gravitating towards a specific character in the game?
Well, you're kind of limited at first, right? Like as you're first starting, you have to unlock the others just by getting good. And so I picked Mac, and then like after you pick them, it was interesting to see their like character profile and kind of go through that and whatever. But also he had a hot dog on his snowboard as like the first thing, so I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, pretty good.
I always gravitated towards like the first couple players you unlock. So like Eddie, Elise, and Brody were three of were my main three, pretty much.
Yeah, the interesting thing with Tricky, I think, is that you have those kind of interstitial rivalries that develop that I don't think they really do in SSX 3. They definitely weren't in SSX 1, but I think that's what sets this game out. Like, there's obviously the Tricky system and the Uber tricks, all of that, but I think that the big thing with this is when you're playing through that main race mode and the in-between major races. So when you do the races, you choose the mountain you're snowboarding down, and then you have to repeat it 3 times, right? And you have to get the best times or whatever to get first place, advance to the next, unlock the next mountain, and move on. But as you do that, in between, you have these cutscenes that play out with, and they're dynamic. Like, that was the really neat thing, is like I would knock somebody down during a race, and then the cutscene would happen, and my character would be talking trash to the other characters, or, you know, they'd be coming at me. And before each race starts, you'll see there's like a meter, like it kind of shows all the racers, and it lists out like who likes you, who hates you, who you should stay away from, etc. And I felt like that was the part that I really started to embrace, because approaching this game at first, my most recent SSX time was spent with 3. And I don't know the last time you guys played 3, but as mentioned before, it's an open mountain kind of thing. So you jump in, you drop down to the mountain, and you're just snowboarding along, having a great time. And then if you want to, you can veer off and go do a race. And it kind of like, as you're going down the trail, you choose between just free riding, or you can splinter off, go to races, and do that way. There's some fast travel and stuff you unlock, and you unlock different mountains, etc. But I really liked the kind of how big that game felt, and how, I don't know, it was like that. Not that I'm always for open worlds, but that was a cool approach to a snowboarding game, I thought. So to go back to Tricky after being so heavily into SSX 3, I was kind of initially disappointed that I wasn't going open mountain, that I had to choose one at a time. But the more I got into it, the more I really liked the level-based approach, and I felt like the character rivalry stuff really complemented what I was doing in the game. Go ahead, Brett.
I was going to say, it's funny you say that, because I played Tricky first. And then SSX3 came out, I got excited, and I don't think I bought it, but I definitely tried it, and the whole open mountain thing wasn't doing it for me, because I like the ridiculousness of the levels, especially the later levels in Tricky, like Mercury City, I believe is the one that just like, it's a city, but a blizzard's going through it, and you're just snowboarding through it. And like I think it's the Tokyo Megaplex is the wild one where you're like inside of a big dome and there's all the different pipes along the top. It's almost reminiscent of a Sonic level because there's all kinds of different paths and there's a fast path, a slow path, and all that stuff. The absurdness of those levels, at least initially in the first bit of SSX 3, I just wasn't getting, and that kind of turned me off.
Have you played 3 before, Mark?
Nah, I've only seen like clips of it here and there.
How did you appreciate? I mean, or did you appreciate the level-based approach in this one? Did that work for you in the same way that like a Tony Hawk would?
Kind of. It definitely stands out in a way. Like the other snowboarding games that I've played, I couldn't tell you anything iconic about them from off the top of my head. I think Tricky has a design in a way where it kind of makes it unforgettable, especially if you're doing the showcase. Is that what it's called?
The trick mode.
Trick mode, yeah.
You know, like point scoring. Yeah, point scoring.
Yeah, because like all those different color like snowflakes everywhere, and kind of encourages you to take different paths that you wouldn't expect to normally take and stuff like that. So
yeah.
So those. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's another wild thing when you see that like red snowflake, the ×5 multiplier, like all the way up super high. You're like, how the hell? What line do you have to take for that one? That was always fun to try to discover.
Yeah, the way that one rolls out, if listeners haven't played in a while or at all, you have yellow, orange, and red snowflake icons placed at random lines throughout the map. And yeah, it's kind of like they're each worth different multipliers, so you want to try and aim for the red ones if you can, but there's always this risk reward of pushing yourself too far, potentially bailing, and not getting any points. But
and it's not unlike Tony Hawk where you see like the extra stat point like in a weird spot and you're like, how do you get up there? Because normally you can't get up there. So what do you have to do? And it's kind of like level discovery in a way.
And I did feel myself getting better at the game the longer I played it, where I felt like that trick system was really messing with my head initially until I just kept going back to it and back to it. And I played the first level a bunch of times, and then I finally got good because I was like getting silvers at best, but I was just like not doing great. But then I started getting really confident with shortcuts because I think that was a really fun part to discover in this game is there's these little SSX glass signs throughout the stages, and if you find them, you bash through them, you usually find a shortcut or an alternate path that sometimes takes you wild places where all of a sudden you're in first place, you take this shortcut, you're in 6th place, and you're like, okay, I did something completely wrong, and then you bust out the other side. You're not only in first place, but you've left everybody behind you by miles. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, once you master the trick system, like a spot like Garibaldi, you can have gold by mid track. So like, yeah, like there definitely is like a learning curve to it. And I guess I kind of forgot about that. It's been because I knew to twist and grab and like kind of try to go into grinds and stuff whenever. I guess I kind of forgot you had to learn all that stuff. But yeah, no, like it's there that like, but once you get it, like you get it, and you can kind of easily get gold, like early in most stages.
I did really appreciate the grinding in the game, where you just kind of slide onto a rail and you're good, or you jump through the air, you land on it the right way, and you're.
Did you grind upside down at all?
I never got not this time around.
So yeah, like the way the mechanic is, I guess if your board just touches the pole, the game just registers a grind, so you can grind upside down. Elysium Alps, I believe, is the name of it's like this big ice kind of half pipe that you can't really do as a half pipe. In the showcase mode, there's grinding rails right in the middle of the half pipe. Those I think I always tried to like jump, go upside down, and like boards board slide all the way across it. And try to
That's the stuff I remember of this game from playing when I was a teenager, is like doing wild, weird grinds and movements and things throughout the stage. A lot of fun. It's a bummer that we don't have more SSX today. But
they tried, and that game wasn't good.
Right. It was, a product of its time. I think a lot of those mid or early 2010s attempts at reviving franchises like this. It was rough. But I think SSX Tricky still holds up really well. I think it has a steep learning curve. So I think people who are used to, especially, I mean, I'm speaking personally at this point, but coming from the Tony Hawk background, it was tough to get into. But it like also isn't quite like something like Session or Skate where it's like incredibly deliberate. It's somewhere in between the two. You need to know what you're doing, but there is a little bit of like freedom to how you play. Mark, what was your overall takeaway of SSX Tricky?
I definitely see, like, they built something pretty, what's the word? Lasting, big. I guess. Oh. Yeah, big. But yeah, I agree with the learning curve. It did take a little bit. It was a little disorienting at first. I still don't know how to rotate my character. But learning that, like, the different grabs, and then like including like a face button with it here and there, so it's like L1, R1, L2, and R2 are all different types of grabs, and that's like your main focus. But what they don't tell you right away is that like there's a little checkbook like of list of moves that you're like supposed to complete. So that's one way of learning how to like do everything. I do appreciate, though, when you finally get into the tricky, which was hard for me most of the time, but it would give you a little prompt at the bottom to know how to pull off that like Uber trick or whatever. Yes. So that's cool, at least. That will at least give you a little nudge of like how to approach doing tricks and stuff. So there are ways to learn about it. It's just not right there in front of you. You have to go looking for it for sure. So there's kind of a bit of a learn to all of it, but over the time with the characters, and you get to level up and experience, you could put those points into different stats or whatever to make a character better. So I could definitely see how they want you to just invest so much into this, and by the end of it, just professional. But it's definitely I know it's a downhill game, but it's definitely a climb to get to that point. But I think it's worth it once you get there.
You need to write that down in the review for this that goes on the website. Matt, how does this hold up for you after revisiting it 20 years later?
I think it's still a lot of fun. I think it kind of, nostalgia can be a thing where it's like, oh man, I remember having so much fun, and you come back to it and it's like, what was I thinking? But no, this like my expectations were like remet again with everything. It sucks because I'm on PS2 and I had to run it on emulation, and it ran like crap on some of the tracks. But like what I did play, like from Garibaldi and the other Elysium Alps was I think the other one that ran fine-ish. It's just so much fun. It's super arcadey, super over the top. I guess I did forget about the learning curve, but like once you get it, you get it. It's almost like Tony Hawk, right? Like Tony Hawk's easier to pick up, I would say, but there's definitely a level gap of you know what you're doing and you're picking up for the first time. But I just love the tracks. I love the stupid characters. I like punching the plumber looking motherfucker with his ass crack hanging out. Like that, like the dumb. It's just dumb stuff. It's just real fun. It's just fun. Like I don't know what else to say.
So moving into our next segment, which we're still going to kind of tie right into SSX Tricky, a new segment this season we're going to talk about, we're introducing today, is called Patched, and it's really looking at what aspect of, or rather, what modern quality of life improvement or design sensibility could make this game better. And I guess we could also talk about, like, how would you reimagine SSX for 2022? Mark, what do you think? What comes to mind?
First thing that came to mind was maybe less about the game mechanics, because I don't really see too much of a problem there in itself, but everything around it is what was kind of sticking out to me. So like setting everything up seemed like it took a little too much to do something so simple. Like to pick a character, you had to go through like 5 confirmations to make sure you wanted to be that character. And I thought
times you hear that sound effect in the menus, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Right, and then there's a point where it just says continue after you did like 2 confirmations. I'm like, what is this? Why? I don't understand what I'm doing.
It's just confirming. All right.
Yeah, because at first it's like I go to Mac and it's like, all right, then I pick him, and then it wants you to enter your name, I guess for your save file or
repeatedly.
Whatever. And then after you type in your name, it just says continue. I'm like, okay, and then you get to like go to the menu of like choosing your board and your outfit and seeing the bio. I think when you're picking a character, sure, you can still have your little wheel if you want to go through them, but like right there should be the character bio. And then, well, first you should do your name, if I guess, before anything. But that'd probably be in the very beginning before you even start up the menu, right? Because auto-saving, whatever. Character should be right there with like the little wiki like next to it, and then from there, just boom, picking out your layout, and then go. That will save you like at least 5 minutes of this game's time.
Yeah.
Other than that, there should be some type of little like quick guide to access like the tricks. I mean, I think there is. I think you can still pause and look at the tricks while playing the game, but like every time you load up a race to do, it only tells you the Uber trick is like the first prompt. Maybe throw in some like different random ones here and there, or just like a quick little guide. Or something like I think some fighting games do that. I think like Mortal Kombat or something might have done, where like when you press start, it gives you like a little like a quick list right there.
Yeah, there's like an easy quick combos you can pull off or special moves or whatever. Yeah, I think something like that just to overlay or whatever.
Just some type of like ease of access with all of this. It just definitely tighten that up, quality of life stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe even showing you your button inputs as you're doing them and what it equates to. I don't know if that would be too like bloated on the UI or the HUD or anything, but like thinking about a fighting game, right? Like in Street Fighter, when you're trying to learn combos, like turning on the button input so you can see exactly what you're pressing when you're pressing it. I think you could do that in a more like, not literally show every input like a fighting game, but show it where like, okay, yeah, you're hitting this combination and that equals a mute air or whatever.
Right. Like when it says flying scroll, it shows the buttons that you did to do flying scroll with it.
Yeah, I think because then you're just kind of like reinforcing what you have to press. I think you'd learn it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Matt, what comes to mind when you think about today's games and applying it backwards to something like SSX Tricky?
I actually have a two-pronged answer here. One would be, like, if we're just taking this game to remaster it, like a quality of life thing, a replay system. And the replay system is in, like, a rewind, especially because of the downhill nature of this. You kind of can't go back around. And it would be cool to use that in, like, Showcase to kind of explore different lines without penalty, without having to redo it, the whole track over and over again. And then also in race, because sometimes you just take a bad line and it's so punishing, especially in a heat 3 of a race. Like, you have to do everything over again. And, not that, I don't know, that's just part of it, right? Like, same thing like in the Olympics. You have your prelims, your semis, and your finals, right? But, like, and if you screw up in the finals, you screw up in the finals. You have to wait 4 years. But, yeah, like, I think for someone that's trying to get used to the game and learn it, I think a rewind system would be good. And then to counteract that, just put in a trophy for winning races without using the rewind or something. So that way there's a sense of accomplishment for not abusing it. And then like in a like rework of this game, I really think you can explore the enemy and friends system in a fun Sonic team racing way. And then incorporate some of that old Grand Theft Auto 5 character switching on the fly, and especially in races, to try to, like, position, jockey, give almost like a drift almost in a way to your teammates and set it all up. And then, like, in Showcase, I think you rework that a little bit where everyone's on the track at the same time. It's still points-based, but I think positioning has a little bit of a factor in it. But in Showcase, why not make these moves super duper over the top, and you have like a duos Uber moves and a triple, like a full team Uber trick thing that gets you an ultimate boost for so long, double that up in some way. But I think that's the thing I always took away from the system. That's why I liked racing so much in this game, was because of that enemy friend, that relationship system. I think taking that to the next level, which was lacking in, evidently you said in SSX 3, I know it was lacking in that PS3 game. I think that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, if you think about like where we are today with like that was just all written in AI, with AI code. But if you do that, apply it to machine learning and have that start to learn the behaviors of players around the world who are already playing it, and then gradually over time, everybody's little rivalries grow differently. I think that'd be wild. Do you see SSX coming back?
Anytime soon.
Yeah, like I could definitely see it, like probably like between whatever EA's like bigger games are considered to be now, but I could see that be like a thrown in between sort of thing.
It's the market space and the risk of making a game now, right? Like Ubisoft is clearly chasing that, and I don't think Ubisoft's numbers on what was the last one they put out last year, on something like that multi-sport thing that they did that had a bunch of dumb attitude. Oh,
Riders
I can't
Republic?
Yeah, something like that. Like, I feel like Ubisoft has been chasing that space. They had another game too that was more snowboard related, right? Steep, yeah, Steep and Riders Republic. I think even that goes into a little bit of snowboarding, but like, I don't think the numbers are like, holy crap, we all should enter the snowboard market right now, and I just don't see EA taking that calculated risk right now.
I guess I don't even know who would make it at EA, because all of those teams have been dissolved to be support studios on NHL, Madden, and whatever else. NHL has like 3 devs, dude. It's Madden or FIFA. They took the NHL devs for UFC. If you forgot. Oh, right. No, it was about a decade ago that last SSX came out, and I never played more than the opening of it. I remember my brother got it for his birthday, and I tried like the opening. I remember he played a bit more, but even he was just like, yeah, it's not fun like the old one was. Like the characters are there, but they were all like, not that they were cartoony in the PS2 days, but they were like made to look so realistic in the 2012 game. And
I think they were definitely cartoony in the PS2 one.
Yeah,
for sure.
Comparatively, yeah. Yeah, I should go back and check that one out out of curiosity. But well, also 10 years ago, today, in fact, actually, some of these are from today, some of these are from tomorrow, 10 years ago, but we are looking back for the 10th anniversary of the Free Cheese at the 10th anniversary of some news stories. So these next 3 headlines were happening 1 decade ago. Our first, a rumor that Little Big Planet Kart Racer is on its way to PlayStation 3.
Close.
This was February 7th, 2012. Eurogamer had reported that the game was announced at Sony's Destination PlayStation retailer event. There's not a lot of news surrounded. Really just that the game would be compatible with 3D, because remember at the time, Sony was really pushing 3D, including that 3D television that it put out.
Yeah.
There would be some sort of PlayStation Move-based steering wheel peripheral. And there was no developer attached to it. But I believe when this one eventually did come out, it was the folks who made... what was that great kart racer?
Mod Nation
is amazing. Mod Nation, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, is this what it was alluding to? Because was Media Molecule behind Mod Nation?
They were behind Little Big Planet,
Right.
but United Front Games, they were the ones who had made Mod Nation. And in conjunction with Media Molecule, they worked on Little Big Planet karting.
Was there a wait? So did the Little Big Planet karting actually happened or didn't?
It did actually come out.
Oh, okay.
But obviously, it made a huge impression. So this was released November 6th, 2012 in North America. It was essentially Mod Nation with a Little Big Planet skin, but they had a level editor. You could use the in-game camera tool or the PlayStation Eye camera.
Right.
So that you could take photographs.
I think I'm remembering now. I think I was thinking that like there was a Little Big Planet sequel that just had like some type of kart racing mechanic thrown into it just for funsies. But
I think honestly that is the problem with this game when it finally released, is the fact that it felt not quite as good as Mod Nation, but it also didn't do what you wanted in Little Big. It was kind of just this weird, I don't know.
Yeah. The era of peripherals.
It was cool, but I don't know. In North America, if you pre-ordered it, you could get the Kevin Butler pack, which included a Kevin Butler themed Sackboy costume and an executive golf cart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Name I haven't heard in quite some time.
I used to over at Bridgestone playing with a Wii. It's alright.
Yeah.
There's a Firestone.
Yeah, so
It's all the same.
did you guys ever play Little Big Planet karting?
Nope.
I guess, Mark, yeah.
Nah, I only played 1 and 2.
It did, like they realized the Little Big Planet, like that pod menu that would pop up, like they pulled that into the game, and I think it had some heart to it. But yeah,
Like I think that was definitely the right franchise to do that type of game. I just think
especially
the
chasing
timing
the
of it.
mascot.
Yeah.
it kind of it integrated the Little Big Planet's play, create, share motto, where you could customize your Sackboy, your carts, create your own tracks, and then upload all of that stuff for people to download and play.
You know what? Make your own game.
Very much a little bit. Yeah.
That's what I love with Media Molecule. We're just like, you know what? Here's the tools. We're done.
Right. Yeah, Little Big Planet karting, rumored to be released later this year. Also, today, 10 years ago, at the 2012 American International Toy Fair, Activision announced Skylanders Giants, an upcoming sequel to the hit 2011 game Skylanders, Spyro's Adventure.
Dude, that was such a phenomenon.
Yep.
It really was.
Because I was definitely at GameStop during this, and insane the amount of people were hunting for this and looking for it and what have you.
For Giants specifically, or for just Skylanders as it was?
I think for just Skylanders in general. Giants, I didn't see too much of Giants. Like people wanting it or looking for it. Like you had your few like dedicated collectors or whatever, but yeah, I didn't see too much with that one.
I know this one dropped Spyro from the title, although you could use your existing Spyro Skylanders from the old games in Giants, but they were trying to get away and make Skylanders its own brand without having to lean on Spyro.
Yeah.
Do you think that, I don't know, had the clones not popped up, Skylanders could have continued? I mean, it definitely, the market got saturated, but
possibly. I mean, they took some weird directions with it even after Giants. I think they tried to like bring back some of its, I guess, some of the Spyro fans, for lack of a better term, with like introducing like bringing Crash into it, and had those crossover Nintendo things with Bowser and Donkey Kong. Like they're in it
Yeah.
for a little bit. They had a TV show.
I did not know there was a TV show.
And I think Spyro was, the main character in that.
Sure, okay.
So I definitely think they were trying to get back to the roots with it towards the end.
I don't know.
Matt, is it going to make a comeback?
No. There's no way. Look at the Star Fox thing that just failed.
But that was at the peak of the oversaturation. I mean, now we're a few years removed from it.
Yeah, now we got Phil Spencer.
No, this going to be digital, and I'm going to tell you why. There's a thing called NFTs out there.
Ugh. These are real world ones, though.
Have your own.
I mean, honestly,
your own
the idea itself, I think, is pretty novel, right? Like, if you think about it in this way, if you made those figures where they were actually action figures that you would play with as a toy anyway, but they just happened to scan into your game, I think the problem with these is they all had the base that had to have the tag inside of it. Where same thing with Amiibo, like they're neat little statues, but after a while, what do you do with them? You just have statues sitting around. Where
after a while, what do you do with them once you buy them?
Did I just say Amiibos?
Yeah,
Plural of Amiibo is Amiibo. I apologize.
Oh,
wow. We got.
I would not have noticed that error.
I noticed it in myself.
No, you know what? What they could have done? They could have went more with the physical. I think. I'm not sure if they did. So. Maybe I'll get corrected some way, but start having like play sets and whatever for these toys to be like used other than just a video game thing,
Yeah.
I think that goes along with the action figure thing, though. Like you can't play with a thing that doesn't move, even if you have a playset scenario.
Yeah. I can't remember if for some reason I'm thinking like these could be removed from their base at some point, like later runs or something, but maybe I am misremembering.
Maybe. I know there was also the Lego Dimensions had some stuff where you could get a little bit more customizable, but
yeah, I actually like that
Matt shaking his head
Lego,
because of how ridiculous it got.
Yeah.
I could see it coming back. I think they'd have to do it right and they'd have to do it cautiously, but I could see a line. Have you walked through the toy aisle in a big box store recently? You obviously can't walk into Toys R Us anymore, which is what's listed all throughout this press release, but wander through the toy aisle in a Target next time you're in one, and it sucks. Kids' toys suck. I mean, they probably did back then too, but
I don't know. Like,
have a little fun with them.
There's definitely more like video game representation, which is pretty neat. Because that was like a rare thing back then, right? But yeah, I feel like a lot of them try to capture like a lot of like vintage toys, but like the toys never looked like that, so they make it like less articulate. And it's like, who is this for? Is this for the kid or is this for the parent?
Well, now there's just a whole market for selling toys to adults. There's, another section. It's by the media in Target, right? It's not the toy aisle, because God forbid you go down there as
Skylanders will come back as a free-to-play gotcha mobile game.
Yeah. The aforementioned United Front Games developers behind Mod Nation Racers and Little Big Planet Kart were not only in the news once this week, 10 years ago, as Square Enix had announced Sleeping Dogs. Developed by United Front Games, a gritty and visceral open-world cop drama would launch in the second half of 2012 for PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. This was formerly known as True Crime Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Activision sold it off, or it fell, did not come to be, and Square Enix picked it up. Square Enix London Studios general manager Lee Singleton said today that Sleeping Dogs has one of the best melee combat systems out there, super brutal with devastating takedown moves, and when added to UFG's proven heritage in driving games, a first-class story and the vibrant backdrop of the Hong Kong underworld, we get a fiery recipe with fun written all over it.
CP Dogs. Yeah, I love this game.
I did too, yeah. I got the platinum in this game. I just played the heck out of it. I thought it was really, really good. And it is a bummer that it never got a sequel. But Matt, did you play any Sleeping Dogs?
Oh yeah, I played a good bit of it, but this is one of those games I'll never finish because my save. This was when first PS3 was on the fritz, traded in for new PS3, and the save data didn't come over. I guess I thought it was automatically uploaded, and it didn't. So sadly, I was like 10 hours down the drain. I just never had the heart to come back to it. I should.
Yeah,
I really liked what I played, but it's so frustrating to remember that memory.
It's always on sale too.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty available these days. And they have like the definitive edition with some extra DLC. But yeah, I mean, it's funny, like the press release, so often I think those hype things up and they, of course they're going to talk positively about what the game is, but it really did have a fun combat system and a really, really fun, like the driving. I don't know, it felt better than most games did. Like, there were driving games that felt worse than Sleeping Dogs driving felt.
GTA 4's driving was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, obviously this was a few years after GTA 4, but this really, the fact that GTA 4 was so popular compared to I don't know, maybe this did end up selling pretty well in the end, all things considered. Of course, the studio shut down and they never got a sequel, and
the sales thing, that was when Square said all these freaking games from the West failed, and it was like Hitman Absolution, the first Tomb Raider, then this, and then I think they decided to go with the Tomb Raider instead of funding all three games because they, quote, underperformed, even though they sold millions of copies.
Yeah, it was wild. Like that Tomb Raider game, I remember the numbers on that one specifically being in the millions, and it was outperforming, like what Sony was doing from a first-party standpoint in certain of its games that Sony was very proud of. And Square's like, nah, it didn't do well enough, and because of that, our financials were down.
And then we'll just send the second one out to die next to Fallout 4 and not change the release date or anything. That's cool.
Yes.
But Sleeping Dogs, play it if you haven't, right?
Right. Like now, it will obviously get compared to Yakuza or whatever. It probably did before, but at this time, we weren't that exposed to it outside of the PS2 era, I think. Yeah. And it just didn't have that same traction that it does now. So probably, but definitely worth looking into if you enjoy those games for sure. Yeah, just good all around, I feel.
Yeah, agreed. Stay tuned for more of many years ago today when we continue to check back in with news stories from 10 years ago. Next up is This or That. So I've assembled a couple of lists here for you two, both related to our main topic of SSX Tricky. We've got some snowboarding questions. So I'm going to ask you, I've got a list of items here. Now our first one's short. It's going to be quick and easy. Got 6 items on the list. I want to know, is this a real-life snowboarding mountain trail or a zone in a Sonic the Hedgehog video game? We ready?
Okay.
Skybase.
Sonic.
Matt?
I'll go snowboarding.
It is Sonic. Nub's Knob.
Snowboarding.
It's gotta be snowboarding.
Yeah, I wish it were Sonic. Leaf Storm.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go snowboarding again.
Storm. I'm gonna say Sonic.
It is Sonic. Maple Lane.
Oh, see, the fact...
My first thing was just this brown hue of a Sonic level running through grass. I'm going to say snowboard because I haven't committed once to Sonic yet.
Yeah, I'm going to say snowboarding just because of the word lane.
Yeah, Maple Lane Cross Country Ski Trails is the full name of that. Good job. Hilltop.
Oh, Sonic, right?
Oh, I mean, Yeah, Sonic?
It is Sonic, but I feel like there's probably a ski range called Hill. There's Round Top not far
Yeah.
from where we're at, but I feel like there has to be a hilltop somewhere. But yeah, it is Sonic. And our last one, Big Bay Pathway.
Bay. That's probably the trickiest one.
I'm gonna say snowboard. Did not say Sonic one time during all this.
I'll say Sonic.
It is snowboarding.
Okay.
Bay. It's got to be near a water somewhere. Is it? There a bay?
That one I don't know where it is.
That's the part that threw me off, too.
There a bay in Massachusetts somewhere? There's a piece of land that hooks around and probably makes a piece of water that's called a bay. I don't know.
There's bays all over the place, right? All right, our next this or that is a little bit more involved. Or not involved, but I've got a longer list. So I want to know, of the following list, is this a snowboard trick or a hot sauce flavor?
Oh.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Are you ready?
Stiffy?
Did I put Stiffy on here? All right, ready?
All right.
McEgg.
Snowboard.
Snowboard.
Snowboarding trick. Cannonball.
Hot sauce.
Snowboard?
Snowboarding trick. Tame dog.
That's got to be a hot sauce.
I'm going to see snowboard.
Snowboarding trick.
So dumb.
Stargazer.
It doesn't sound like a hot sauce, but I'm going to say hot sauce.
I'm guys. I gotta get a hot sauce right. So hot sauce.
It is a hot sauce. J-Tear.
J-Tear. Hot sauce?
Hot sauce.
Snowboarding trick.
Yeah, I figured. Okay. Well, clearly not.
Cranked. And that's with a K. Cranked.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
It is a hot sauce. Bloody Dracula.
I'm just trying to think of an announcer saying these names, but I guess it doesn't matter, right? Oh my gosh, Shaun White hit the bloody Dracula across the half pipe.
Yeah, like I'm picturing a trick where you're like laying on your board like a coffin and you're just like,
Yeah,
whatever.
Okay, this is SSX Tricky. It's not possible.
I
Hot
will
sauce.
tell you, Matt, you say hot sauce. What do you say,
Yeah.
Mark?
I'm going to say trick.
It is a snowboarding trick, and I will tell you that I got these tricks from Wikipedia. They are real tricks. They are not from SSX.
I never said that these were. I'm just saying.
No. But I some of these names I had never heard of because I'm very familiar with skateboarding names, but some of the ones for snowboarding. All right, next on our list is Crippler.
Okay, this could cripple your tongue. I'm going with the hot sauce.
I'm going to go with trick.
It is a snowboard trick.
What the fuck? I'm awful.
Next on the list, Widowmaker.
Now that's a hot sauce.
I'm gonna stick with hot sauce. Mark seems so confident.
It is a hot sauce. The Phoenix.
I'm gonna go snowboard trick. I haven't.
Yeah,
said that
it sounds too easy to be a hot sauce name, right? Like Phoenix, Fire. It's too obvious. But if
there's a trick called Undead Dracula. There'd definitely be the Phoenix.
Then like maybe the point is to not have me pick it because it sounds so obvious. So I'm gonna pick it. Hot sauce.
The Phoenix is a hot sauce. Thor's hammer.
Trick.
Hot sauce.
It's a hot sauce.
Damn.
I should have been keeping track of you guys for points, but butter.
It's just called butter.
Butter.
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with the snowboarding trick because I just don't know what kind of hot sauce would be butter besides a butter based hot sauce, but wouldn't that just be buffalo sauce at a point?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Trick as well.
Yeah, this one I think specifically is about like carving the snow a specific way.
Okay.
Yeah. Seatbelt.
Seatbelt?
Seatbelt.
Trick.
Hot sauce.
Snowboard trick.
Yeah. Okay.
Rodeo.
Oh, that's a trick, right? I feel like I've heard that.
I want to go with Trick. Watch me be wrong.
Snowboard trick.
Okay. Cool.
Pucker butt.
I gotta go hot sauce. At some point, some of these are gotta be that obvious.
I'm saying hot sauce in hopes that I'm wrong. Weirdly enough.
It's a hot sauce. I wish it were a trick. Scorpion disco.
Whoa.
I think that's a trick. I feel like that's another one I've heard of.
I feel like I'm changing my legal name. Hot sauce.
Scorpion disco is a hot sauce.
Ah.
That's a good name.
Scorpio
Goat
Sky is a
Rider.
wrestler, by the way. So you're not too far.
Who is?
Scorpio Sky.
Oh, that's a pretty good name. Goat Rider.
Trick.
Trick.
Hot sauce.
Damn.
Howler monkey.
Trick.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
I'm not good.
Slob.
Slob. You know what?
A trick. It's gotta be a trick.
I'm gonna say hot sauce.
It's a trick. It's a snowboard trick. Yellowbird.
Trick.
Ladybird. Hot sauce.
Hot sauce. It's a brand of hot sauce, not a flavor. But yeah.
Okay.
Angry goat.
Okay, so we had Goat Rider.
I'm
Which
gonna
is
say
clearly
it's the
a
same
sauce.
brand of hot sauce, and they keep the goat name, so hot sauce.
Go say hot sauce as well.
I think it is a different brand, but it is a hot sauce.
Okay.
What is it with goats?
Represent the devil, maybe in a weird way.
Yeah. Jade Jaguar.
That's just a name of a person. Move on.
Yeah, is this a
It does.
Batman villain? Jade Jaguar. I'm gonna say hot
Actually, I
sauce.
think he's snowboarding right now for the Italian flag. I'm gonna say a trick.
It's a hot sauce.
All right.
Truff.
That's a trick.
Hot sauce is with truffle oil.
Bingo. Matt got it.
What?
It's actually a brand of truffle oil based things. They've got a good pasta sauce. They do have a hot sauce. Yeah.
I want to try all these now.
If you would have said truffle, I would have said trick.
Yeah, me
I think
too.
that's where the
Oh,
irony is.
Zeech.
That's just a
This
just
better not
letters
be a
thrown-
hot sauce.
that's just letters thrown at a wall. That's a trick.
This better be a
It's
trick.
It's a snowboarding trick based on
A hot sauce.
I believe based on hot sauce. I think the snowboarder's name was Zachary Leach, so they called it the Zeech.
Okay.
Okay.
Melon.
Trick.
Trick.
It's a snowboard trick. Reaper.
I feel.
I just gotta go with the obvious. Hot sauce.
Yeah.
Hot sauce.
Okay.
All right, our final two. Misty.
Trick.
Trick.
Snowboard trick. Ho ho.
Trick.
Yeah, trick.
Snowboard trick. Pretty dang good.
I rallied there at the end. I feel at least I left on a high note.
Yeah, you brought it back. You got it. That was a fun one. That popped into my head one day randomly, and I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna do snowboard trick or hot." Because I don't even know.
Yeah, I
I
like
think
that.
I was shopping for hot sauce, and then I was like, "Some of these sound like snowboard tricks." It's time for our weekly roundtable question. I want to know this week, who's that Pikachu? Pikachu has long been the face of the Pokemon franchise, appearing on logos, in parades, has become the recognizable creature for the masses. I think that a lot of companies out there would love to have a Pikachu. And I think a lot of franchises don't have a Pikachu. So maybe some of these already popular series could become even more popular if they just had a recognizable face associated with them. So I'm going to name video game franchises. You tell me who's the Pikachu for that video game franchise. Are we ready?
Okay.
Number 1, Persona.
It's too easy, but I'm going to say Joker just because he's the cross representative into Smash.
I feel, this one's weird because I feel like each game kind of has their own.
Right.
But you know what? I'm going to go weird with it. I'm going to say that old guy in the Velvet Room.
You know what? He is the common thread outside of pulling in, because that's the reason I went with Persona is if you think about Shin Megami Tensei, Jack Frost, boom. And Jack Frost appears in Persona. So as a whole, you kind of represents, but no, but I think Jack Frost makes more sense for SMT and it's so associated, but Persona doesn't have that thing. Yeah, that creepy guy in the Velvet Room might be a...
I will say, I'm going to throw this perspective in there. I haven't really played the Persona games or know too much about them besides, like,
same
general thing. It's just, like, Joker's the first one that I think of now. Mostly because of the Smash. If the Smash thing didn't happen, I don't know if I would know Joker nearly as well.
No, you know what?
No,
like, that could work, though. Like, if there's, like, a anniversary thing or something, like, he would be the silhouette with, like, the number and whatever, like... Or like his mask or something, like I could see that totally being a thing.
Yeah, I think his mask has been super iconic. Like the covers of any of the spin-off games or anything, it's always just Joker, Joker, Joker. And with the 25th anniversary of Persona running right now, you could easily start to put Joker back into some old things, like make posters. Yeah, it could work. Who's the Pikachu for Silent Hill?
There's
Obviously
already
the dog.
It should be the dog. Yeah, I think there's 2 answers to this one. Because they love... I mean, Red Pyramid thing is what kind of takes the front. But runner-up would be Robbie the Rabbit.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Is that 3?
More...
I don't know.
More so 3?
Well.
No, yeah, like it's more so like prominent in 3, but I think like since then it's just kind of like taken more of just an iconic thing. I would prefer Robbie to be the mascot over Red Pyramid thing because Pyramid is more associated with just 2, and the way it's being used just doesn't make too much sense as Robbie just is already a mascot for like a theme park. So yeah, definitely Robbie.
I don't want to say
Pikachu. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I don't want to say James, but that was like my first thought. James is the pro tag from 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just the most iconic game in general.
Yeah.
So I think it's easy to pick there. But also, like, if you just had a picture of a building with a lot of mist, I would take that as the face of a franchise.
Yeah,
just a sign that says Silent Hill.
Who's that Pikachu for Command and Conquer?
Crap. What's his name? Why can't I think of his name? It's right there. I shouldn't be forgetting this. Celebrity.
James McAvoy.
No,
James Earl Jones.
I feel so awful right now.
James Woods.
He was in one of the games. Maybe it was the first one. I'm not too familiar with
I don't know anybody else named James. I'm really racking my brain here. Got myself into my own predicament, unrelated to yours.
Who, Oh my god, this is so awful. Who played Pennywise? The first Pennywise?
Tim Curry.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't think of Tim Curry. Tim Curry is the mascot for Command and Conquer.
Sold. Yeah, I'm there. Matt, can you top Tim Curry?
No, because I never even played a Command & Conquer.
There's a whole meme with him about
Command and Conquer. But I've never commanded or conquered.
They had like FMV cutscenes, and there's
right, yeah. I mean, I'm aware
of
that, yeah, but I've never played one to even know, and I completely forgot that Tim Curry was in it. I was thinking Mark Hamill, but wasn't he in like another live action?
Wing Commander.
Okay.
It's
close.
Funny that you went with Tim Curry, because when I was building this list, I almost put Gabriel Knight on here, and I was like, well, one, I barely remember that game. Two, it would just be Tim Curry, so that doesn't make any sense. But here we are. We still got to Tim Curry in the end anyway.
Is there like a mainstay character throughout the series? Isn't like Kane or something like a...
Command and Conquer?
Yeah. I feel like Kane stood out for a bit. Some bald dude with a goatee.
Saying. This is why this is important that we help these franchises to figure out their identity. Who is that Pikachu for Dance Dance Revolution?
You know what?
A sweaty teenager that's by himself in the arcade.
Just some person in trip pants. I'm gonna take
the sweaty person in trip pants. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, like I'm going to take the Japan route with this one, and I'm going to make each arrow a character that has arms and legs and a face.
Oh, I like that.
Just a bunch of arrow coons.
Make a little like logo of them dancing together. They give them some personalities, like Pac-Man character, like the ghost of Pac-Man. One of them has trip pants and is sweating all over the dance floor.
Yeah, the one's just smoking a cigarette,
dance floor. It's the dance pad.
Dance pad, I'm sorry, yeah. Who's that Pikachu for Dynasty Warriors?
Ooh. It's probably Lubu. He's like the big baddie throughout all of them.
Would you kind of like characterize him, make him lovable, or?
I guess you could. He is very iconic looking though. Like they do love to market him. It's either him or like Zhao Yu. They love to market, but as like the protagonist. But yeah, Lupu is kind of like the anti-hero of the whole thing. He does this, goes to the beat of his own drum, but he has like these long like feather things coming off the top of his head, and just has like this big like halberd or whatever that he has. But yeah, I'm sure you could probably cute that up.
Who's that Pikachu for Spy Hunter?
Spy Hunter?
There's a game. Your franchise I've literally never touched. Spy Hunter just has that generic face on the front of its PS2 cover, right?
Yeah, but I feel like there's something very Matt related that could be the Pikachu of this franchise.
I
don't
think
know if Mark will get there.
I think I might know. Was there a movie?
Ahead. There was supposed to be a movie.
Was it supposed to have The Rock?
It was supposed to have The Rock.
I think we found our Pikachu.
Yeah. Or Vin
car.
Diesel.
I always would. Honestly, by not ever actually making that movie, The Rock did become the Pikachu for Spy Hunter for me, because I cannot see Spy Hunter in any of its forms now without just picturing The Rock.
Hey,
all right, Matt. Maybe this one will help. Who's that Pikachu for Watch Dogs?
I still say it's the main protag from 1. I know they want to get away from 1 as much as possible, but he does make a little appearance in 2. It's like a cameo mission, doesn't he?
Yeah, I thought he was like a whole pre-order thing.
Yeah, and then I didn't do enough Can You Rescue My Sister side missions in Legion to get very far, but I don't know, I have a feeling his name would have popped back up again. I just feel like those games are very revolutionary based, and he started like kind of like the first one in a weird way, so that has like a ripple effect in the world.
Mark, who's that Pikachu for Guitar Hero?
Guitar Hero. Shit. What's his name? It's probably either going to be... I think his name is Axel. Maybe I'm wrong on that. The dude with the denim vest.
Yep.
Or Johnny Napalm.
That's the Mohawk one?
Yeah, know what? Yeah, Johnny Napalm. I'm gonna say it's him. I think the Mohawk is just gonna be more iconic if you for branding.
Just in the lower left-hand corner, the title card for "Through the Fire and Flames" by Dragon Force. I think that's your.
That's the Pikachu.
Yeah.
Matt, who's that Pikachu for NBA Jam?
Ooh. Oh, I don't know. Shit, who was around in that first one? Probably Jordan, right? He's face of everything. Why not?
Yeah. Just adopt the logo. His, Jordan shoes. Mark, this one might be one you have an easy time with. Who's that Pikachu for Dota?
Those dumb dragons.
Which ones?
Like those. What is it? Is it like pink and blue? Like those little like cutesy dragons that were like on the map when you're playing. No, I'm sorry. That was for Battle Chest, wasn't it? Or Artifact?
Artifact, I think.
Oh, yeah. They're not in Dota.
Right. Well, now they will, because now they're
Yeah.
the mascot. They're now the face of Dota.
Yeah, Matt, I mean, you think about Valve properties. You've got Gordon Freeman. You've got GLaDOS. What is the face of Dota?
So, first instinct would to say make Roshan the main creep in the middle. But with the new, they got the season, or I don't know if they did season 1 and 2 or part 1 and I don't know how they did that on Netflix, but they got that cartoon now, and a lot of it's for Dragon Knight and Lena, who are two heroes in the game. So you could easily adopt one of those. I think they're both like easier characters to learn as well if you were trying to get invested in the game.
Who's that Pikachu for the Oregon Trail?
Dysentery.
Oh my god. Probably that, just like the skull of an ox.
Oh, yeah.
The wagon itself, right? Because that's
The
like
wagon, I'm picturing the wagon.
It's all you see. It's like 95% of the game, besides when he tells you your family members died of dysentery.
Who's that Pikachu for Sledstorm?
Damn it.
For the listeners, Sledstorm was another EA big product that was advertised within SSX Tricky.
Couldn't even tell you what that game was.
SSX Tricky.
Yeah, it's a snowmobile.
Yeah. Just a silhouette of a snowmobile.
Our last two here. Who's that Pikachu for Resident Evil?
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you go first, Mark, and then I'll say.
I think the Umbrella logo is a little too easy, believe it or not. And maybe that's the point. But I'm going to go with their in-game mascot. The raccoon. I forget his name.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Probably Rocky or something. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
In a weird way, I think only in one game, or I guess two if you count the remake, Nemesis, because Tyrant, and like every game has a Tyrant, and that's just like it's like the Pyramid. It's the same like it's kind of like against the argument that you said for Pyramid Head, but like I don't know, like Nemesis makes a lot of sense. I mean, character-wise, I would have leaned Leon until these last couple games. And then I guess Chris is the better character protagonist mascot, but I don't know, my gut says Nemesis for all the reasons you said not to pick Pyramid Head.
You know what? I take back the raccoon and replace it with Chris, but Chris only exclusively has a creepy smile for branding.
So we could do Chris and Nemesis kind of coming together in like an intertwined logo with the Umbrella logo planted behind it. I think that's the...
Yeah, they're like making out or something.
Yeah.
Or we do a
All right,
giraffe.
our final one. Oh, yeah, you can do that. Just pull the 6 people forward. Matt, who's that Pikachu for Pokemon Legends Arceus? Arceus, whatever it is. Because I don't think I've seen a Pikachu in that game yet. Have you?
Saw Pichu.
See?
No, the rival has a Pikachu. Well, not rival. Your teammate, Galaxy team. Dude.
Yeah, all right, fair.
Or chick. I don't know which way you went. I think it's opposite sex no matter what, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
From what I saw.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
They do, huh? I did not realize. Okay, yeah. All right.
Bidoof's around a lot.
Yeah, Bidoof is around a whole lot.
Good answer.
Or Laventon, because he stands out because he looks so fucking dumb.
Oh, with his weird hat and his coat and
the stubble.
Yeah.
I just think the Switch ran out of assets to draw more hairs. That's what I'm coming up with in my head, but
I think they wanted somebody to look like John Ricciardi from 8-4, but either way. Well, that's been Who's That Pikachu?
I got
if you've
one.
got a franchise. Yeah.
Sorry. I thought of one on the first thing, and I didn't know if it was come back around. Final Fantasy.
Ooh. Black Mage is the first thing that came to mind for me.
Yeah, I'm between Moogle and Chocobo. I don't go with Moogle.
Oh, yeah.
Chocobo's good. Yeah, because it's another one where it's like, there's so many iconic characters, right? Like, you usually see Cloud, Sephiroth, Titan, all these characters that are technically only in, like, one or a small series of games relative to the rest of the franchise. But Chocobo's good. I didn't think of that.
We're going to close this episode like we close every episode this season with the ranking. It's time to rank SSX Tricky among the rest of our list here. So currently our list is from top to bottom, Portal 2, followed by Devil's Crush, followed by Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. Where do we think SSX Tricky falls? Is it above or below Billy?
It's definitely
above
Billy.
Yeah, I'm seeing the grins. I think, above makes sense. Does this one eke over Devil's Crush for either of you?
I think that's where our debate is. It is for me, but I'm not. Pinball, I think I've said it multiple times at this point. I think I've made my point clear during that episode. Like, pinball is not my go-to thing, but it was fun.
Right. No, despite my shortcomings with SSX Tricky, I do think there's just something about it that could, like, keep you coming back. I mean, pinball is a very simple game too, and that can keep you coming back too. There's a lot of replay value there. But I don't know. I feel if I wasn't save scumming, Devil Crush is a little brutal with its physics. And I don't know how much I could keep doing that how many rounds I could do consecutively. So if I'm talking replay value without pulling my hair out, it might be SSX Tricky, but that's just my factor.
Yeah, if we were talking music, I think Devil's Crush wins by a mile. I think that's the top of the list across the board. But yeah, I think SSX Tricky sits just above Devil's Crush this week.
I think
So there it is. Yeah.
I think with Devil's Crush, I mean, I know it's a pinball game, and pinballs are boards, and they're supposed to be a set board. But it had like 2 or 3 different boards instead of just the 2 fast and slow boards. I think that would have shaken this conversation up a little bit, because I just think there's just a lot of variety in SSX Tricky, where like, and that goes towards the replay value, right? Like, you're not playing Garibaldi 30 times to World Circuit all the characters. You're playing Garibaldi and then this one, and variety creates opportunities for misses, which I think there are some misses on courses. Like I don't like Snow Dream. It has nothing to do with the fact that my emulation could not run it well, but I never really liked Snow Dream. But like Tokyo Megaplex, I love that. I can't wait to get back to that one, right? So I think that variety lends something in this conversation.
Yeah, having different tables, that would have been. No, I'm good with that. You can follow along with the list
Oh, I guess
over
I
at the
guess,
free.
Are we not arguing Portal?
It's not
Oh,
beating Portal.
Okay, all right. That's
I've-
fine.
yeah, I just-
I'm there too. I just want to entertain the question.
Yeah.
No, good point. I kind of assumed that was my fault. Thefreecheese.com/the list is where you can follow along. Next week, come back, talk with us about ESPN NFL football. Technically 2K4 is the one for that. I think the title is just ESPN and NFL football, but 2K4 is the one you're looking for. The Sega published 2K football game. I wonder who picked that one. Until then, this has been SSX Tricky and the Free Cheese episode 439. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. See you next time.